Hello, beautiful people. Hello, hello, hello. How are you? I hope you all are doing amazing. I'm doing amazing. I'm just trying to set up on live for Instagram. So, one moment. Oh, that's what I forgot to do. I forgot to link the link for the. Okay. Hello, Instagram. Welcome, welcome. Let me try to set this camera up for Instagram so that it's facing me so it doesn't look like I am so much um, talking to the side and I'm talking forward. So, hello, beautiful people. Hey, Stella, how are you? I am going to be talking today about the wobble. What is the wobble? Because I have a program that is releasing called Delete the Wobble. And maybe some of you are not clear what the wobble is. Hello, Shada. How are you? I'm glad that you are here. So I want to talk about the wobble so that there is no misconceptions. Hi, cousin. I want to talk about the wobble so there's no misconceptions around what it actually is. And what the wobble is really being double-minded, right? You hear that in the Bible, like don't be double-minded. Or what people will call in the manifestation space as wavering. That's all it means is when you wobble, you waver. So when you decide on a desire, when you say this is what I'm going for, actually this is kind of a little to the side. Let me put this like this. I was trying to do like this. But when you decide on what you're going for, when you say this is who I am now, and then you pull back and then you start to allow the external to dictate how you feel, you allow the external to tell you anything about who you are, that's the wobble. That's the wobble, right? So, what I am now introducing and what I talk about in all of my content is how to delete that, not how to overcome it, not how to change your mindset or your thoughts around it, but how to delete it totally so that you no longer are wavering between or wavering when it comes to you making a decision or wavering when the external is showing you something opposite of what you know to be true. So, as an entrepreneur, as a creative, as a visionary, you have these goals, these big goals for yourself. Maybe you have an income goal. Maybe you have a visibility goal. Maybe you want to write a book. You wanna give conferences. You want to host retreats. Whatever it is that you desire, it is absolutely possible. Hi, it's me, Mystery Peace. Hello, Frankie. Whatever it is that you desire, it is absolutely possible within your business. You just can't wobble because as soon as you wobble, you turn your attention towards that which you don't want. And we all know where attention goes, energy flows. So what happens is when you turn your attention towards that which you don't want because you're not stable, and we're going to talk about why you're not stable, but because you're not stable, the energy is flowing there and then that becomes the outpicturing that you call reality. And that's the wobble. So, how do we delete it? How do we delete this block? I wouldn't even call it a block, but this function that is in the way of what you know to be true. Yay, I'm glad that you're here. Hello, my attention is here right now. Yes, yes, yes. So, how do we delete that? You see through who is it that's wobbling. That's how you delete it. Who is it that's wobbling? Because once you see that you are aware of the wobble, but you are not the wobble itself, the wobble is deleted. It is deleted on an identity level. It's not deleted from your field of awareness. And it's not necessary for it to be deleted from your field of awareness. But on an identity level, you will no longer wobble because you realize that you have never wobbled. You have always been consistently you. You have always been consistently stable, yourself, centered, grounded. You are unmoved. Does this mean we question the idea of the I who is experiencing this? Exactly. And that's what it comes down to. Who is it that's wavering? Who is it that's doubting? Who is it that's wobbling? Who is it that's worrying? Because if I'm aware of worry and doubt and wavering in the if I'm aware of that, then obviously it can't be who I am. So now the question becomes, well, who am I then? Because if I'm not that, which I can't be that because that's too unstable for me to claim that as my identity. So who am I really? And exactly, agave, I feel like it's agave. Exactly, agave. Then you go into the self-inquiry. Who am I? Who is it that wobbles? Who is it that's aware of this wavering? Who is it that is shaken when I'm hitting a low income month in my business? Who is it that's worried when a client leaves? Who is it that's worried when the marketing isn't landing the way that I thought it would land this month? Who is it that's worried about these things? Who is it that's worried that my relationship isn't working the way that I think it should? Like, you become so free when you finally see what is it that's seeing this. Hello, Leo sun child. Yes, what's up? This is freedom. And this is not a freedom that is dependent on anything external to you. It is not a freedom that is and this is real freedom, right? Because a lot of times what people want when they talk about freedom is always dependent on something external, which is great. That's you want to make more money because money maybe to you equals freedom. Absolutely. You want more time because time for you equals freedom. Absolutely. Whatever it is that you want, if you associate it with freedom, I'm telling you, you are cutting yourself short. I'm telling you to go further because there is a freedom that is not attached to anything. And the reason why this is amazing is because when we attach our desires or things that we want to something external, we always set ourselves up to experience some form of disappointment. Because what's the one thing we can count on in this life? Change. Nice, Timmy, nice. The one thing we can count on in this life is change. So if you place what you want in something external to you, eventually you're going to be disappointed because eventually it's going to change. So what you should do is give everything you got to knowing who you truly are. Because who you truly are has never, ever, ever changed, and it's never wobbled. And that is how you delete the wobble. So what does this look like, again, in business? This looks like, because here's the thing, when the wobble is present, you stop yourself from taking a lot of actions that would actually be in alignment with the thing that you want. I asked this question. I polled you guys on my, hi Rhonda, I polled you guys on my YouTube and I asked you guys, I said, what's the main, like, you know what to do. What's the main thing that's stopping you from doing it? What's the main thing that's stopping you from taking the action? So many people say second guessing myself right before I do it. That's the wobble. That is the wobble. So the reason why so many people don't just go for it, take the action, leap, is because they're listening to that voice within that's going, I don't know about this. And because you have not went all the way to freedom that is not dependent on anything, you don't see that voice that's saying, I don't know, I'm not sure, is not who you are. So you will always be at the whim of that voice. Yes, I used to live in Illinois then. Yes. So you will always be at the whim of that voice. I hope you guys can see me. Sorry. I'm on Instagram Live as well. And I'm a love like. So when you're no longer at the whim of the voice, what happens? You start taking bold action because the voice that's saying, I don't know, or I'm scared or I'm worried, that's not relevant anymore because you're not that. You start like moving quicker, right? Money loves speed. Who's ever heard that? Money loves speed. Money loves speed. So many, like, and I always think about the example of Prince and Michael, like, and I don't even know if this is true, but like it was roaming around the internet where people were saying that Michael Jackson, he heard like, or Michael Jackson, if he got an idea in his sleep, he would jump out of his bed and start working on it because he was like, and I don't know if this is true, right? But it's cool if it is. But he would jump out of bed. Yes, he would jump out of bed and go start working on it because he didn't want like Prince to get it. Oh, tell them I said hi. He didn't want Prince to get the idea, right? Because money loves speed. It's all about speed. It's all about moving. And I'm sure there are so many ideas that you've had and they've been brilliant because you're a genius. I don't doubt that. And these ideas are coming to you. They're flooding in. But then you have that other thought that's on top of it that's going, I'm not sure. I don't know if this is the right move. I don't know if this is the right time. I don't know if I can actually do this. I don't know if I'm qualified. I don't know if I have what it takes. The idea came to you because it wants to be expressed through you. But then you have that other thought on top that goes, but I'm not sure. That's the wobble. That's the wobble. So if you are ready to take your business, your creativity, your life to the next level, and you owe it to yourself, you owe it to your family, you owe it to that younger part of yourself that's had the dream forever. I don't know about any of you, but it's always been my dream to do what I'm doing now. And I'm sure there are so many of you where you had a dream. You used to work with me, I don't know. Where you had a dream, where you have a dream that's been inside of you since you were where you were a youngin'. And every single time that voice in your head says we're not ready, you are telling that part of yourself no, and you are shutting them down. So you owe it to that part of yourself more than anything. Me and that voice had a conversation. Now I'm writing my first novel. He had to catch this fade real quick. I love that. I love that. I love that. The people that are in my world that start to see what becomes possible when they stop identifying with that voice, they stop wobbling, they start to move. That's why in my bio, if y'all look at it, I say, I help entrepreneurs move without mental permission. Because so many people are waiting till they feel ready, till the voice in their head finally agrees with their dreams, finally agrees that this is it. King's Inn. You say you used to work with me. You used to work with me where? What's your name? You used to work with me where? So I have someone inside of that. Yes, I have someone inside. He's been working on a book for a long time. The book is almost complete. I'm pretty sure that's what he said. The book is almost complete. My other client, Charlie, she said, I want to travel the country with my family. I want to get a bus. I want to deck it out. But then she had all these beliefs and ideas about why it wasn't possible. Then I said, who are you really? Are you that voice or are you aware of the voice? And then we went through the framework. We went through a framework that I have called the Beyond. And we go through these different frameworks for her to see who she truly is. And when she saw who she truly was, then all of a sudden the action just became inevitable. It was as if she was watching another, you know what? As if she was watching another version of herself. I have another client, my client Ashley, who's absolutely killing it right now. And we were on the call the other day, and she was talking to me, and she said, I don't even know who's saying this. And she just said something, and then she was like, she would talk to me about something else that happened the day before. She like sent out an email, or she was on the call with another one of her clients. And she said, she was at work. She was at work. That's what it was. And she was talking to her boss about, because she's a fitness trainer. And she was talking to her boss about her business. And she was like, I never talk about my business, to other people. I always keep it to myself. Always like, I never talk about my business to other people. Hello, everyone on Instagram. She said, I always keep it to myself. And then she said that she just started talking, like really advocating for herself. And she said when she got to the car, she said, I don't even know who that was. She said, I don't even know who that was. Like, it didn't even feel like me. And I said, exactly, right? Because you got out of the way. You finally got out of the way. The wobble was deleted. It was no longer this inner like turmoil of should I do it or should I not? Should I do it or should I not? That's you deleting the wobble, babe. I moved out of my hometown to New York City by myself, and now I don't know what to do. What do you want to do? What do you want to do? Decide, and then don't wobble. Decide, make a decision, and you stick with it, regardless of what the external is showing you. The reason why people have a hard time making a decision is because making a decision and sticking with it is because if you make a decision, let's say you move to New York, this is an example. You move to New York and you say, I want to be a rapper. But then other people say, you want to be a rapper, like a rapper? Do you know how many people want to be a rapper? Get a real job, get a real hobby. And then maybe you like, whatever, I'm not gonna listen to them. So then you start putting your music out. And people say that's trash, or nobody's listening, or nobody's tuning in. And then you decide that you're gonna believe them more than you believe your own, more than you trust your own self. You're gonna believe something outside of you more than you trust yourself. Because you can always get better. You can always increase a skill. But the thing is that you're so used to outsourcing your own authority to other people and their own opinions that you're not listening to yourself, listening to that voice within, or not even that voice within, but this part of you that knows what's possible, the part of you that's already experienced it, right? Because I talk about going to the 4D. I talk about living in the end. I talk about not like already seeing it as if already moving as if it's already true. I'm not waiting on the external to tell me anything that I already saw in my imagination. So if you already saw in your imagination that you are a famous rapper or a model or an author, a world-renowned author or a great speaker or a multi-millionaire business person, whatever it is, if you already saw it in your imagination, why the hell, and I know why you are so, but why the hell are you allowing the external to allow you to wobble? And I'm telling you why. It's because you believe that voice in your head is the truth and it's who you are, and it's not. Who you actually are is the one that's aware of it. And I know I talk about this in all of my videos. So what I'm saying is nothing new. But why do people still wobble? Because it's one thing to hear something and even experience. I've had people say, I watched your videos and I shifted. Like while you were explaining something, or if I bring you all into a practice, I pull you in, they'll say I shift. I experienced the shift. And then something happens and they're like, but then I got back entangled with my ideas. I got back entangled with that voice in my head. So it's not enough. It's not enough just to consume the content. It's important to get in the room, to get around other people who are leading themselves in this way, where this becomes the natural way of, this becomes the way that they are living their lives. This is why my clients invest in themselves. This is why they come into my world. This is why my clients, it won't happen overnight. It doesn't happen. And like some people it can, depending on how open and ready you are. But they're committed to knowing who they truly are. And through that, reality begins to rearrange itself, because it's not a quick fix. They're going to their true identity. Who am I really? Right? Let me just go through here. Amazon, Rashad, Amazon. Babe, I'm sorry, I don't remember. That was a long time. That was a long time ago. What was that, like 10 years ago? No, I don't think it was 10 years ago. Maybe like 7 years ago, babes. I don't remember. This live will be saved with the idea of living in the end. I conceptualized this idea of a particular partner and living in the end. This is the fine line in my mind. Decided it's my desire and it's done. Somehow I still find myself asking if I'm getting in the way by being specific. I don't think you're getting in the way by being specific, but what I found for myself is that I can limit myself when I get too specific, right? Because if I'm telling myself, let's say a financial goal. If I say to myself, I want to make, let's say $50,000 a month. I'm just saying a random number, $50,000 a month. How do I know that there's not a way and there's not a process and there's not a path where I'm making $200,000 a month, right? So then to me, I just don't like getting too specific because I don't want to limit what's actually possible and what can actually come. I want to stay open to all possibilities, I want to stay open to miracles. I want to stay open to unfathomable like ways that reality can move in my favor. So that's the only reason why I don't like to get too specific, is because I just don't want to limit the miracle. What about being stuck, toxic family with troubling getting education due to mental health? I think with that, I always like to tread these waters lightly, but it really is all a mirror. Everything is a mirror. And I think when we can start to accept our side of the, like what we can do on our side of the street, like what is your responsibility? What can you do? That's all you can do. Okay, sounds good. That's all you can do. Is take care of your side of the street. So you are not a victim to your circumstances. You are not a victim to what happened to you. I'm sorry that it happened to you, but it's raw material that was handed to you for your growth, for your evolution. And the most empowered thing you can do for yourself is to see it from that lens, right? Let me tell y'all a story. I believe some of you are new, some of you are not. I sent out an email today to the wait list of Delete the Wobble. Make sure you all sign up for Delete the Wobble. Make sure you all do that. Let me actually get the link so you guys can sign up, because I have a program that's coming out. It's going to be a 14-day audio transmission program to support you in deleting the wobble, and you get 2 live calls, right? That the value of that is over at least like $4,000 for that in itself. So I would definitely sign up for the wait list so that you can be the first person to know when it goes live. Doors open on Friday, right? And whoever's on the wait list, you get early bird pricing and you get early bird bonuses, which the bonuses that I'm offering are actually like really crazy. But I am so committed to you seeing this and being stabilized in this truth that like I'm willing to do it. Hi, love. Hi. Okay, so talking about your circumstances and being empowered and not a victim to what happened to you, right? Some of you said you're new. Hold on, let me just read this real quick. Purposely amazing, become a millionaire, but I didn't want to limit it. I want money to flow from every way, but I don't have a way, so I find myself doing nothing. I don't know where to go. I don't know nobody to network with. That's not your job to figure it out. That's the how. That's the middle. Just go to the end. You're a millionaire. How does it come about? Not your business. Not your business. Just stay in being a millionaire and don't wobble. Okay, so back to the story. So this is Zane. This is my son. I had a son when I was 24 years old. Okay, before I had Samaya. A lot of you know Samaya. That's my baby now. She's 22 months. But before Samaya, there was Zane. Samaya is my second baby. I told this story to the people that are on my list, but one day I came home and I had this ritual, right? This is what I used to do. I used to have like this morning routine where I would like play with my baby in the morning. I would lay him down. I would like play with him in the morning, read to him. We would do tummy time. And then I would lay him down for a nap. I would go for a walk my dog, go smoke a blunt, listen to a podcast. And then I would come back in the house, come back in the house, make some breakfast. Like I would go check on him, go make some breakfast. And I was just doing that. I would say we had got like routine because he was 12 weeks. So I would say we had been doing that at that point for like 4 weeks. We had finally gotten into like this good routine. And that's what I would do every day, right? So yes, well, okay, so let me tell you the story. So this one day, just like any other day, right? We played in the morning. I laid him down for his nap. I went outside to go walk my dog, to smoke my blunt. Came back in the house, about to make some breakfast. I was feeling lit. I walk upstairs to go check on him, right? I go upstairs to go check on him like I always do. And this time when I saw him, he was like, usually he would lay like this, like his head to the side. He was laying face down. And I knew something was wrong because I'm like, why is his face like down like that? So I went and I went to go grab him, and I'm like, Zane, that was his name, Zane. I said, Zane. Um, and his eyes were closed, and he was limp. His body was just like limp. And I just screamed. And then the other person that was there was my little brother at the time, and he ran in the room. And I don't know, like, it was so blurry at that because I was trying to wake him up. I'm like, wake up, like he won't wake up. And I was screaming, and I said, Isaac, he's not waking up, something's wrong. And then my brother called 911, and then they had me do CPR. So I ended up doing the CPR on him, and the ambulance got there, and they said he has a pulse. So I was like, yes, he has a pulse, you know. So they took him to the hospital. I like at this point, I think I kind of like, I wasn't even crying at this point. I think I was so I was in shock. Like, I was in such disbelief. I didn't even really know what was going on. Like, to everybody that saw me, I looked like blank, you know. So I went to the hospital, and the doctor said he's okay. Like he's breathing now. We're gonna do everything we can. And I said, and I was hopeful. I was so hopeful. Then I ended up flying him to another hospital that could best support him in Chicago. And unfortunately, he passed away 6 days later. What ended up happening was it was what they call SIDS. So he ended up like suffocating in his sleep, essentially, because his head wasn't strong enough to like move, and his head kind of got stuck on something. So imagine the guilt I carried for years. Imagine the guilt, right? Imagine how broken I was, right? It did. And honestly, it did. It broke me. It broke me. After that, babe, I was like in and out of rehab. I like couldn't handle it. I thought I could. And at this point, I was already super into like spirituality. I was already into spirituality. So I was trying to like bypass it, like trying to, you know, do everything that I could to get like try to convince myself that I was okay. And I was like a victim for a long time because I just couldn't understand how something like that could happen. Like, how could something like that happen, right? And I played that, like, I mean, I don't want to say I played because I was hurt. That was tragic. That's a tragic thing to have to experience, seeing your child lifeless, right? That was very tragic for me. And even like every time I would hear an ambulance, I was like having panic attacks. Like, I couldn't even hear sirens. It was really bad for me. But I tell you that story to say that I'm not a victim. Now I see that that empowers me to know that I can go through something like that and I can still be okay. Because what I ended up realizing now is that I am not even the character that happened to. I could tell the story from the perspective of being the character, but I know truly, and not just something like bypassing and not just trying to say something to make myself feel better or to make you feel better about your circumstances, whatever happened to you, regardless of what happened to you. I'm telling you that you are not the story. You are not the character. You are what's observing all of that. And in that, you are powerful beyond what you even can fathom. So regardless of what you went through, I have people that'll say to me, like, it's easy for you to say. It's easy for, you know, because things are working out for you, and because, you know, things are happening for you, right? Your business is doing well. You're traveling the world with your family. You're able, you seem confident when you show up online. Of course, it's easy for you to not react to your circumstances. You don't know. I've been through it. I've been through so much. And I say to them, you don't know what I've been through. You don't know. Like I wasn't always like this. I had to because I was so broken. It was like I had no other choice but to find out who I was, because I was so broken. I was not going to survive going down the path of believing that I was the self that life was happening to. And that life, and that like there was nothing I could do to change my situation. And that shit just would keep happening to me. The worst of the worst. I lose my baby, right? Then I find myself fucking in rehab. I don't go to, like, black people don't, I mean, I know that's crazy to say, but like, rehab? What the fuck? What is happening? What is happening to my life? I find myself strapped, arms and legs, wake up blacked out, strapped to a hospital bed. What is happening to my life? This doesn't happen to people like me. At least that's what I thought. And I was just a victim. I was a victim for a long time. My life is terrible. I'm never going to be able to change things. This is just who I am. I'm always going to be sad, and this is always going to affect me. But then I had to find out who I really was, because it was really life or death. It was like really life or death for me. And I don't want it to be life or death for you. And that's why I'm so passionate to talking about this and like planting these seeds and getting you all to see the truth of who you are now. Because I don't want you to wait until something so tragic happens that you're forced to wake up. Because that's what usually happens, is that people have to wait until shit gets so fucking bad for them to finally say, okay, I'm willing to see the other way. And I don't want you to do that. I want you to see that, like, you can just decide today that you are going to find that you are going to allow the truth of who you are to shine brighter than that voice in your head that's telling you that you're dependent on what the external is showing you, that you're not ready, that you're not brave enough, that you don't have the credentials, that nobody's going to buy from you, nobody's going to trust you, nobody's going to listen to you. That is a lie. Who benefits from you telling that story? I talked about that in my last video, the self-improvement world, because as long as you are constantly in the state of becoming, as long as it's not there yet, as long as it's almost going to happen, then you're going to buy into, and it doesn't even just have to be product, but you buy into their ideals. If you buy into their ideals, then they know, like, the most expensive resource that we have is our time and our energy, not money. It's our time and our energy. Yes. Thank you all. But you know what? It's nothing to be sorry about, right? Because that, now in hindsight, I am empowered by that. Because I know that going through that has allowed me to help so many other people go through their own things. Of course, we don't like how things happen, right? You know, people say God, his strongest, what is he saying? His strongest warriors into battle. And you know, those memes where it's like, I ain't your strongest warrior then. But seriously, like, you never gonna get more on your plate than you can handle. And I knew that because I've always had a dream etched on my heart to change the world, to move the masses. That was always, like, I've always wanted to be a teacher. When I was a little kid, I was the only child for like 10 years. I would spend hours in my room, like, playing with my with my dolls and like giving them lectures and giving them papers and grading their papers. Like, I always wanted to be a teacher in some way, right? I thought maybe I would go on to be a professor, and that could still happen. But I went on to like really want that, right? But then because of life and because of just so many other circumstances, it led me down a different path where, for the most part, I just didn't believe that I could. I didn't believe that I was somebody worth listening to. I didn't believe that people cared what I had to say. I didn't believe I was smart enough. I didn't believe I was disciplined enough to even make something happen. I didn't believe I had a story worth listening to. And that was the main thing. Be careful what you wish for. Because I didn't believe I had a story. Why would people listen to me? And I actually had somebody say that to me. Because I told them, I said, I want to be a life coach. Just even before I had my son. When I was like 18 or something. And I was like, I think being a life coach would be a cool job. I said, I want to be a life coach. And somebody said, why would somebody listen to you? And you see that online all the time. Where people will be like, I ain't hiring nobody that ain't like these young kids. And like, you don't even know what these people have been through. And you don't even know how they've led themselves out of something that will probably make you crumble. So, but somebody said that to me. They said, you ain't never even been through nothing. Why would somebody listen to you? And I said, damn, they right. But at that point, I had been through so much in my childhood. And I was leading myself. I had found something that I felt like I wanted as many people to know about as possible. I found a tool. I found spirituality. I started to dive into the truth of who I was. It wasn't fully embodied yet. It was more so like intellectual, but just like knowing it was creating shifts in my life. And I wanted to tell as many people that would listen, especially people around me that I love. I'm like, we are not victim to our circumstances, but nobody wanted to listen to me because I had never demonstrated it. I had never demonstrated that I wasn't a victim to my circumstances. That's easy. Yeah, sure. We'll see. We'll see. And then when it happened, I did become a victim to my circumstances. I did. Until I remembered. Until I remembered what I now teach. That I am not the character. I am what's aware of the character. And since then, I have not, no matter what happens in my life, I've still, since then, I've had some pretty rough experiences happen without just giving it all, right? Some rough experiences. And I just decided I am not a victim because I am not even the character in a story. I am what's aware. Let me go into these comments real quick. I miscarried a month ago. As much as I'm saying it doesn't define my being. I told myself today I have to find out who I am as source. I'm deciding in this now moment that I am allowing my truth and my light to shine through regardless of what the external shows. I love that. I love that. Hi, Groovy God. For me, it's when I recognize my super toxic family that's religious and sheltering. And that's going to be the most empowered story for you. Of how you saw that even with these limitations, right? What do I always talk about? I expand you beyond your self-imposed limitations. Even with these limitations, you expand. Even with these limitations, you rise. So yes, you have the limitation of having a toxic family. But guess what? You have the tools that are available to you in this moment to expand beyond that, to rise beyond that. Universe brought me to this live stream while I was watching some b-ball shit. Remember on the movie Life when they were parting from the prison, he asked, what can y'all do? We all have a boom, boom, boom in our imagination. See it through, family. Yes. Yes. Stay strong. Girl, I was repeating to myself, don't wobble. I love that. I love that. Don't wobble. Don't wobble. I'm 26 and I fell behind in life. I'm happy you are helping us and I'm happy you helped yourself. Yes. Oh, 26, baby, you're young. If you're still in your 20s, you're still a baby. You're still a baby. You are not behind at all. You have so much life ahead. Even if you, like, I have clients that are in their 50s and they're still babies. I say you still have so much life ahead of you. You still have so much life ahead of you. Oh no, my bra is just like all showing. Oh my God, that's horrible. Oh my God. But you still have so much life ahead of you. We've been on for about 37 minutes. Jesus, my bra was just like all out. I hope I didn't flash y'all. You saw a little bra action. It's okay. You'll be all right. You'll survive. I was in it. I was not paying attention. So that's what the wobble is, and that's how you delete it. So much to live for, so much to see. You have so much to see. You have so much to do. You have to see past that voice in your head that I know sounds just like you. I know it. I know it sounds just like you. Hi, Love Conduit. Good to see you as well. And this is how I know that voice isn't like who you truly are. Because again, what's true, and one thing that we know about true is something that's constantly true, right? It's true regardless of what time it is, where you are in the universe. That is a absolute truth, right? There's relative truths, but there's also absolute truths. And the absolute truth is the only thing that you should truly lean on. And an absolute truth is the fact that you are the observer. You are awareness. You are not the voice in your head. And we start there, and I won't go too much into it because this stuff, it gets, there's layers. There's depth to it. But I think this is where we start. We start with the fact that you are not the voice in your head. You are what's aware of that voice. That is the one thing you know for certain. Because the voice in your head, it changes. It's too fickle. It's too fickle to be who you are. How do I know it changes? Because does that voice in your head sound the same as it did when you were 5, when you were 6? It changes. It changes based on how you are perceiving other people hearing your voice. That's not who you are. So the voice that is saying, I'm not ready. I can't raise my prices. I can't just go for it. I can't, go after my dreams. I can't switch directions. I don't want to leave the people that love me behind, even though you're not. Thank you, Leoy. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, y'all. It's morning for me. It's just 11:02 a.m. So I know it's late for you all. I know it's late for like my people in the States. I am in Vietnam. So it's 11 a.m. for me. I know in like where I'm from in Illinois, it's like I'm 12 hours ahead or 12 hours. Yeah, is it ahead? Yeah. So it's 11 a.m. there. It's 12:02 p.m. Do you mean a.m.? It's 9 p.m. in Cali. Okay, not too bad. 12 a.m. Yeah. Getting out of work. So happy you're alive at this time. Yes. 10:02. Yeah, so you guys are, it's nighttime. All right, good night. Grateful that you were here. Good night. Oh, thank you, Puna. Oh, that's what I was about to do. So absolutely, you all should sign up. If you are loving what we're talking about and you are ready to delete the wobble, to delete the part of you that is questioning your dreams, that is making you move slower than what you know you're capable of, that is making you limit your greatness, then Delete the Wobble is for you. And India, hello, India, I have not been yet, but I want to go. Like that is on the path. That is what's next, India. Okay. Sorry, I was looking at something. I definitely have the wobble. You don't have the wobble, you're aware of the wobble. And that is what this program is really like going to drill in you. You don't have you have never wobbled, not the true you. The character wobbles all the time because the character is at the whim of the experience that is aware of. Me as a 3D character, this 3D character can't put my hands through the wall, right? Because I am in the realm of the 3D rules. But how limiting would that be for me to believe that that's all that I am? It's not. It's a story that I am aware of. Who I really am is the one that's aware. That is what Delete the Wobble is going to drill into you. That is what I am going to coach you into stabilizing. Is this truth? This has nothing to do with changing your thoughts into believing that you can do it and you can go for it. I'm not here for the hype. Because guess what? The hype don't last. Because I can sit here and I can motivate you and I can say, you are worth it. You can do anything. Anything is possible, right? I can do that all day long. But what is that gonna and you could feel hyped while watching it but then you go into your reality. You click off the live, you click off the video, and then you're met with, yourself moment to moment. And it's like, damn, what happened? Where did that motivation go? Where did that belief go? Because it's a belief. Because guess what? Another thought came along and said, who are you kidding? You're not that. So what I do is I don't even play around with your beliefs. Whatever you choose to do to reprogram your subconscious mind, that's your business. But I don't play around with that. I'm going to point you directly to the source, because that's where change is going to stabilize. That is where can't nobody because people can, if you when it comes to beliefs, somebody can tell you something that convinces you otherwise, right? Because all beliefs have an opposite. So beliefs are not stable, right? So this is beyond a belief. This is your direct experience. So if and this is what I mean by your direct experience. Are you aware? And let me know in the comments. Let me know in the comments, are you aware? This is not a trick question. I really want to know. Tell me in the comments, are you aware? While y'all are doing that, I am about to put the link for the wait list in the I'm gonna pin the comment so that y'all can sign up for Delete the Wobble when you are ready. And if my signal gets a little bad, it's because my internet is trash. Yes. Somebody said yes. Yes. Yes, I'm aware. Is there anything anybody can say? But I don't care how convincing they are. But is there anything anybody can say that would convince you that you're not aware? Is there anything? Like, and they could be the most persuasive person in the world. And I'm pinning this. This is, if you all are interested in Delete the Wobble, if you're a creative, visionary entrepreneur who's ready to just move without mental permission, then sign up for Delete the Wobble. It's hard for me to remain calm and focus on my state of being when family is loud and say the same thing and what I'm going through. Absolutely, I get that. When people say you are consciousness, what does that mean? This is what that means. Puna. I'm Rebecca. I just want to thank you because one of your videos I literally saved my life. Oh, that is beautiful. I love that. I love that, Rebecca. Thank you for sharing that with me. That makes my heart. That means the world to me to know that. This is why I do what I do. I don't do it to hear myself talk. I talk to myself all day long. I hear myself all day long. This is not for me. Nothing can convince me otherwise, somebody said. Because if somebody were to convince me, if somebody were to convince you otherwise, that you weren't aware, you would have to be aware of them trying to convince you otherwise. How would you know they were trying to convince you otherwise? How would you even know that you were convinced? How would you even know that you shifted the belief from I'm aware to I'm not aware? Who is aware of the fact that you shifted your beliefs? Are y'all picking up what I'm putting down? Who is aware of the fact that you're shifting your beliefs? Who's aware of that? So as long as there's an experience happening, there's awareness. That is the one thing that is stable and is true for you. So when Puna, you said that's your nickname. Okay. You said that question. You said, what is consciousness? Okay. I don't know what happened to it. Sorry. Let me go to your consciousness. Oh, you are consciousness. What does that mean? That's all it means. That's all it means. I'm trying not to vent, but I am here being honest about something I'm struggling with. For sure. Who is it that knows that you're struggling? Who is it that is picking up on the thoughts of I'm struggling? Talk to me about that one. Talk to me about that aspect of yourself. You're saying I'm struggling. How do you know you're struggling? This is not a trick question. How do you know you're struggling? Because when you get in contact, me, who is the me that you are referring to? You said me, but how do you know? How do you know you're struggling? Me. What do you mean by me? Talk to me more about that. How do you know you're struggling? Because of my emotions, because of what I'm seeing. There you go. Who is it that's seeing? Who is it that's seeing? Hello from South Africa. I don't know. And that's a beautiful answer because that's an honest answer. That's an honest answer. You don't know. But would you say that you are seeing? Maybe you don't know who's doing the seeing, but you're seeing, right? You're aware of your emotions. You're aware of that feeling of struggle, right? Are you aware? And has there ever been a time in your life when you weren't aware? Honestly, and tell me that. Answer that, Puna. Has there ever been a time in your life when you were not aware? Because when that really seeps in, it'll click for you. That this aspect of yourself is always available because it's always been with you. You know, when people would say things like, God is always with you, God sees everything. I was thinking they was talking about like some type of Santa Claus figure. Like I ain't never seen no God around me. I ain't never seen like how like God knows my thoughts. God knows like how and how is that like there's some people in the world. How is it possible that God is always with me and God is able to be with everybody? at all times, everywhere, and God knows everybody's thoughts, and God knows, like, how is that even possible? Until I realized that every single person says, I am. And what they are pointing to is, I am aware. That is what they're pointing to. And that I am, what in the Bible, what did Moses say? What did Moses say? When Moses had that burning bush experience, and he said, who do I tell them you're, like, who do, if they ask me your name, who do I tell them has sent me? And he said, I am that I am. I am the way, the truth, and the light. I am that I am. That is your awareness of being. That is what's always with you, right? God is always on your side. It's your awareness of being. That is who you are. God made us in God's image. What does that mean? It is not robbery to accept the truth of who you are. You are actually glorifying God by accepting the truth of who you are. It's funny to even consider unawareness. That's still awareness, right? Because who's aware of unawareness? Who's aware of unawareness? In order for there to say there's unawareness, somebody has to convey that. There has to be some type of, like, experiencer being able to relay that there's unawareness there. So I was aware even when I wasn't aware. If you weren't aware, then who would know that? Who would know that you weren't aware? That would mean that there was no I present. As long as I is present, there's awareness. Because I knows, or you could, another way of saying it, as long as I is present, there's knowing. There's a knower of experience. Who is it that knows that there's that you were unconscious, or that you were not aware? If there was a knower, then you were obviously aware. We are everything because we are aware of everything. Without our awareness, it doesn't exist. Exactly. So what does that tell you? This makes me so hype, y'all. I love talking about this, and I love when people get it. Because what does that tell you? We're everything. We are aware of everything. Without our awareness, it doesn't exist. What does that tell you then? Without your awareness, it doesn't exist. That means that it is originating from you. Without your awareness, there's no creation. There's no reality. Oh, reality is dependent on your awareness, not the other way around. We assume that when there's no one aware, like what has always gotten philosophers, right? That question of, if a tree falls in the forest, nobody's around to hear it, that doesn't make a sound. Who would know that it made a sound if there's nobody around to hear it? Who would know? There's no way of knowing. There has to be someone there that is aware of it making a sound. And also the double slit experiment, right? The double slit experiment says that reality is in the form of waves until there's an observer there. And as soon as an observer is viewing the wave like reality, which is just light, it collapses into a particle. And that particle is what you are now calling your reality. We are all lucid dreaming right now. Isn't that the coolest fucking thing in the world? To know the double slit experiment. Check that out, Puna. I love when you tell us to close our eyes and identify our thoughts, and then identify who is it that is aware of that thought happening. It's the easiest method for me to step into spectator mode. I love that. Inside of Delete the Wobble, I am going to be taking you all through some, like, if you all enjoy those interactive practices, get ready for Delete the Wobble. Sign up. I have the link pinned. I'm releasing all the details on Friday. This will be an investment in yourself, in you, in what it is that you desire. If you're ready to stop wobbling on your dreams and where you're going, this is for you. This is for you. And my content, like my lives, my free content, is more than enough. But if you're ready to have someone who has been through something, what you've been through, similar or more, to be surrounded by a community of other people who are also on this journey, and to have that direct feedback into your specific situation, then Delete the Wobble is for you. But yeah, Puna, the double slit, check it out. It's I think they received a Nobel Prize around these findings, around the findings of that reality is actually a lot weirder than we thought. It is not fixed. It is not solid. It's actually always in a state of motion. And that is such a beautiful thing. So I'm simply I am. Exactly. You are simply I am. The happiness is magnetic. Yes. I love making vision boards because it helps me focus on what I actually want. It helps me keep in track. I love that. I always say, if you have a method or you have a technique that you enjoy doing for the sake of doing, then absolutely go for it. But if you are thinking that your method or your technique is going to be the cause of what it is that you desire, then you got to go with that. And you have to realize that there's no cause other than your awareness, your consciousness. Consciousness is the only cause. What you're doing is just what's happening in consciousness. It is not leading you anywhere because there's nowhere for you to go. You're already there. The wobble is you believing that there's something else for you to do and there's somewhere else for you to go. So, example, like, because baby, the wobble still shows up here. I'm just not the wobble because I'm aware of the wobble. The wobble isn't happening for me. It's happening in me. That's the difference. So earlier I was thinking about it and I was like, oh my God, I have this big launch coming up. I've been talking about the Delete the Wobble for a while. Y'all seen that. If y'all been here for like the last 3 weeks, I've been talking about it. This is like a big launch for me, this program. And it's something that is so dear to my heart because I am going to be giving a level of teaching that I've never did before. Like, I'm going to, take it up a notch, like these transmissions. And I think, and I think what it really is because it's gotten deeper here within my field of awareness, that the transmissions get deeper. That the transmissions are like more potent. So I know that this program is going to, it's already changing my clients' lives. It's already changing the people that watch me on YouTube. It's changing their lives. So I know that to be in close proximity, like this is, like it oh my God, like how passionate I am about people like having these ahas, these breakthroughs. It just makes me so emotional because that is why I do this. Okay. But as I'm leading up to the launch, I'm having a lot of fears because this is the highest price offer that I put out. Well, except for like my one-on-ones, my masterminds, right? Those are like high ticket price. People who invest in those spaces, they're serious. They're serious about their transformations. They're serious about getting there and avoiding my mistakes, right? That's what mentorship is for, is to get there as quickly in avoiding the mistakes of your mentor, right? So that's the point of like coaching and mentorship. But outside of that, like usually when I was running programs for like $21, $37. This one has a much higher price point, and I will be letting anybody on the wait list know because you guys are getting a crazy discount compared to what everybody else is getting. So if you want to know, check out the link the link that's pinned right now. Sign up for the wait list because you are going to be getting the biggest discount, like just for moving first, just for going first. Instagram, just for going first. Sign up for the link. I'll put the link in. The link is in my bio on Instagram. The link is in the chat. But back to it, because this is such a leap for me. When I'm talking about, raising your prices, when I'm talking about, moving without mental permission, it's because I have to lead myself first. And with leading myself first, now I show other people how to do it. And what that looks like is the activity in my mind is like, are you crazy? You are losing it. Why would you do this? Nobody's gonna sign up. Nobody's gonna nobody's. Who do you think you are? Just going and going and going. And it's making me go, oh my God, am I crazy for doing this? Am I crazy for like believing in myself and believing in my work? And like charging what I feel like it deserves based on my clients' testimonials, based on my own testimonials. That's the wobble. And I said, so then I said, okay, this is the wobble. This is this. No, even before I noticed that was the wobble, right? Because I saw the thoughts coming, I said, oh, you know what I need to do? I need to get into practice. I need to go like do some visualizations. I need to go thinking that the methods, the techniques are what's going to get me there. I'm like, I need to make sure that I'm in alignment. I need to make sure. And I'm like, wait a minute. This is the wobble. Because if I'm already there, why would I need to do all this stuff? I'm already there. This is the wobble. Fuck that. I'm about to go to get some brunch. I'm about to go have me a dance party. I'm about to go live my best life. I'm about to celebrate the fact that it already happened because there was enough space for me to see that I am not that voice in my head. So I move forward. I send the email. I invest even in myself. I invested so much in myself this month. Okay, bye, Instagram. It's ending. It's so nice talking to you all. Oh shit, my mic died. I don't think I ever turned it on. That's crazy. Oh well. But thank you. But I invested in myself. I just took the leap. Where before I would have these thoughts of like, girl, that's a little crazy. Like, how are you gonna do that? How is it gonna come back? And like, are you sure this is a bit much? Right? All that. Yeah. That's not me. And I said, because when I'm putting this deposit into the universe, this is me showing that I'm moving without mental permission. I'm trusting that what I saw in my imagination is true. Because if I saw that in my imagination, then like, of course I'm moving in this way. So believe me, I've had to delete the wobble. So even coming here, this was, people would always ask me, how did you guys move across the country? Did you guys save up? We went from let's go to Southeast Asia to booking our tickets to booking an Airbnb to being out here in 6 months. I don't even think it was 6 months. I think it was like 3 months. It was like 3 to 4 months. And there was a lot of wobbling going on. There was a lot of people telling us we were losing our minds. There was a lot of people trying to talk us out of it. We've had moments where we've been out here and the bank account was low. And we were like, what the hell? Like, we about to have to go back. But I just stayed committed to my imagination. I stayed committed to what I knew to be true within. And I didn't wobble. Or I was aware of the wobble. We were at a grocery store. Actually, and I never wanted to tell this story because it's so vulnerable for me, because I'm like, damn, like, I don't want people to look at me and, whatever the case may be, whatever the wobble, whatever the voice in our head tries to tell us, that keeps our shame inside. And when we keep our shame inside, then it's always easy to feel separate or isolated from, instead of connection, right? So what happened one time was we were in Thailand. The last time we were in Thailand, we went to the grocery store, and I think we had just paid for somebody's daycare. We had just paid for rent. A lot had came out the account. And and I'm telling y'all, the cost of living out here is so inexpensive. It is so inexpensive. So we budgeted for like $40, $50. Like we were spending that on groceries a month in a family of 3. Really 2, because somebody was still nursing at the time. We went up to that stand. They said a price. I think it was like $60. It was really expensive. I don't know why. I knew why it was so expensive. I'll tell y'all why. But $60. And my dude, he didn't have it. And I thought I did. So I went to scan my account, and we got declined. And I was so embarrassed, because how the hell do we get our card declined in Thai? Like, it is so inexpensive to live out here. It was just one of those moments where I was like, what are we doing? Are we going to make it? Are we going to make it out here? We're going to have to go back. We had enough money to like get our plane tickets back. Like we had savings, and we still do. Like we always have enough put aside in case we need to go back. But like, that's the emergency fund, right? So, but like our regular day-to-day living fund, how the hell we get our card declined in motherfucking Thailand? Like, this is crazy, But I didn't wobble. I stayed committed. I stayed committed to what I knew to be true within, was that we were wealthy, was that we were abundant, that things work out for us, that like I didn't come this far just to come this far. So it doesn't, this delete the wobble. It's not just about when things are going well. A lot of people have that misconception as well. Is that like like they're like, oh, I'm fine, everything's okay, and it's because their life is pretty much smooth or they're comfortable. What matters to me is like you being uncomfortable, you actually taking a risk, and you doing the things that's going to actually shake the boat. That's when it matters, not when you in this space where like sure you might not be like super satisfied with your life, but you're not like totally unsatisfied to the point where like you feel this like urge to move, so you're comfortable and you're like I don't really wobble, because you don't put yourself in circumstances in positions to wobble. You're playing it safe. What I am calling you to do is to rise, is to do the scary thing, even if you don't know what's going to come out of it. So that the wobble can show up, and then we learn how to see who you truly are beyond it. Okay? It is the same teaching. I know you can buy it. I'm telling you, it's really the same teaching. It's just close proximity. If you value close proximity, if you value being around people, if you value, being around people who have what you want and you want to get there faster, then like that's the point of coaching. That's the point of mentorship. You can get there on your own, but like we all have these very specific roadblocks and like just blind spots that we can't see on our own. That is why I love mentorship, because I could think I'm cool. I can, like I said, like you could think like I don't wobble. I'm doing pretty good. Like sure, there's things that I want to do, but I'll do it eventually. Like I know myself. I know that eventually, like I will take the action when I'm ready, when it feels in alignment, like all these excuses that people will say, because really they're terrified of just like putting themselves in a position of being uncomfortable, because they don't understand that they are not that character. They are the one that's aware of the character. So that is the importance of mentorship, is getting yourself in mentorship that's going to stretch you. Not mentorship that I'm sure a lot of you have bought courses. You bought like $10 things here, $100 things here, that type of stuff. If it doesn't really stretch you, because there's not like a big buy-in. It doesn't feel like I've bought so much like I would say low ticket stuff, like $30 challenges, even like $150 challenges, like $300 challenges, where like I'll show up and I'm like, I'll do the work, but it's not like really costing me anything for real. I'm like, if like I'll get to it when I get to it. But when I invest, like I invested in myself this time, a couple $1,000s for like to just be inside of like a mastermind, like a 4-week mastermind, a couple $1,000s for a 4-week mastermind. Baby, I'm showing up to everything. Like I'm in all the calls. I'm taking notes because I'm being stretched and there's something on the line. And like people who pay attention. Usually people, when there's not like, it's like, "Oh, I'll get to it when I get to it." I am showing up like uh, like like it's do or die. Like it's either this or nothing. Like it's working out, and this is what it looks like. And because I live from the end, because I'm not looking at this any way that I invest in myself, I'm never looking at that as like this is going to be the thing that takes me there. I'm always like, I'm there now, and this is how the character is moving. So that's also a great mindset shift to have when it comes to like investing in yourself. Never look at it as this is going to be the thing, or anything that you do, your techniques, who you watch online, like people that you admire. Like never look at it as like this person is going to help me get there, or this method, or this technique, or this class, or this course, or this book. Never look at it as those are going to be things that's going to get you there. Always look at it as you are there now, and this is what the character is doing in the end, in the wish fulfilled. That will, I'm telling you, it'll change your life. If you don't hear nothing that I say today, hear that the techniques, you are not separate from that which you desire. You already have it. The techniques are you demonstrating that, like, oh, this is just what the character, like somebody who's fit. What they're doing in the end is they go to the gym. They're not going to the gym in order to get fit. They're going to the gym because they're fit. So you're not showing up and expanding your business and launching your creative project, because you're not writing the book because you want to be the best-selling author. You're not marketing the book because you want to be the best-selling author. Hi, True Ascension, how are you? You're not doing that in order to make it happen. You're doing that because you're already a best-selling author. And this is what best-selling authors do. They write books. So now all of a sudden, when you're doing the things, you're not doing it looking to like making it a means to an end, looking for like when you complete it, once it gets done, then like reality is gonna like validate you. No, you're doing it because it's already done and this is what it looks like. And you would be like, and through that, reality validates you, because reality is always just going to show you who you're being, who you are, who you are in consciousness, who you said yes to already. So please, everything that you do it from the end. Do it in the end. Don't do it to get to anything. Don't get it to move towards anywhere. And another way I like to look at it is like when we think about 4D and 3D, like the way that we see a 4D being, right? Like let's look at this poster. I mean, the way that we see a 3D being, right? We can say Gone is a 3D being, right? Gone is a 3D being. We're seeing the whole of him, right? In this image, we're seeing like his hair, his body. We're seeing what's around him. We're seeing a complete image because we are 3D beings and we are able to look up. We have all of these different layers. We have an extra dimension, which allows us to see more than Gone in this 2D frame. He can't see everything that's around him. All he sees is our lines. And I won't get too much into that. But all he sees are lines. He can't see the full picture because he's in two-dimensional space. So all he can do is see what's to the left of him, to the right of him. He can look. I don't even think he can really look. I mean, if he looks up, but he just sees a line. He can't see it from the way where we can look at it in its entirety. The way that we look at a 2D being is the same way a 4D being looks at us. Right now, we see reality happening in concession. We see it happening in events, like the 2D image, as if like the frames are happening in time, like this. So like let's say each page is a moment in your life, and the way that a 4D being sees it is as if it's happening in time, and like the event is one after the other. That's how a 3D being sees it. A 4D being sees our entirety in one split, the same way we see the entirety of this image. So you can access the fourth dimensional version of yourself through imagination. And when you access the fourth dimensional, the 4D version of yourself through imagination, you saw the end. So now you're no longer a character who's moving towards something. Your awareness watching the unfoldment of the dream in the three dimensions, in 3D. That changes everything. The wobble becomes irrelevant. But this is hard to hear when you think that you are the character. It's like the Plato's cave analogy, right? Stuck for a while because law of attraction. Be positive and you will attract it. This has nothing to do with being positive in thoughts. This has nothing to do with that. This is about knowing who you are, touching. And I wouldn't even say like touching your fourth dimensional self. That's still a fragment of who you are, because you're aware of the 4D. Like what I'm pointing to when I'm telling you like to delete the wobble, know who you are. This is the one that sees dimensions. This is the one that goes beyond, right? Beyond. This is the one that goes beyond dimensions, that goes beyond what it sees. This is not even about seeing all the dimensions of yourself, but we won't go there. But when it comes to the 4D, you can access the 4D, which is seeing the full picture, like you see the full picture of two-dimensional spaces by going into your imagination. So I'm also in the 4D too. You're in every dimension. You're in every dimension. Every single one. Yeah, everyone's journey isn't going to be the same, but being uncomfortable is a part of it. It's a part of it. You can't grow if you're not uncomfortable. I've listened to subliminals change my life, but I recognize how my consciousness was me being stuck in lack still. And when I look around and seeking for evidence, like, where is it? Yeah. If you're looking for it, that must mean you don't have it. Right? So you're very self-aware. That's amazing. So the 3D is the page of the book being read. The 4D is the full story. Exactly. The fourth dimensional version of you sees the full story. The three-dimensional version of you is looking at pages. I prefer this spirituality and law of assumption. Yes. Would that be the voice in my head too? You can say that. You can say that the voice be, yeah. Let's just say that. I'll say yes without going too much into it. I've never heard of Dr. Louise Turi. No. Thank you. Starting to click. Yes, that's my favorite thing in the world. That's my favorite thing in the world when it clicks. But what this is like, and I'll end with this, and then I'm gonna go because it's time for me to hit the road, Jack. We're gonna go for a walk. But what this is like to hear this realization of the fact that you are not experiencing all of reality, you are experiencing a fraction. Excuse me, what are you doing? Excuse me, thank you. What this is like is to realize that you are seeing a part of yourself and you're not seeing the full picture. And to hear this, like your three-dimensional self is going to have a hard time with this because it can't even fathom like another dimension. Like we can't even, it's kind of like trying to imagine a different color, like a new color, a color that you've never seen. Like try to do that. Try to imagine a color that you've never seen. I'll do it with you. It's difficult. It's difficult to imagine a color that you've never seen because you're always going to try to reference it to what you know. Everything is about referencing it to like what information you already have available to you. So that's the same thing when it comes to talking about different dimensions or when it comes to talking about your true nature. Your three-dimensional self is always going to try to put it into some type of box according to the information that it already has. So it's never going to be able to like make sense out of it because it doesn't have the tools in order to see into that 4D version of yourself. It's just about trusting it, going into the imagination, trusting it, and allowing it to be revealed to you, not through the tools that you are used to using, which is like your analytical mind and your senses, but allowing another sense to come online and to reveal this to you. So like I was saying, it's like Plato's allegory of the cave, right? Where there's this story about, let's imagine there's prisoners who were chained in the cave. Their head was locked, so they can only see what's in front of them. They can't see what's behind them or to the left and right, and they can only see what's in front of them. And what's behind them is like a bunch of fire and a wall. And people are constantly walking past with like figures. So what they see in front of them are like shadow figures. And imagine that's all they've seen their entire life are these shadow figures. Because they can't turn their head around, so they don't even know that somebody's behind them, like moving figures. All they know is what they've been taught, and because this is all they know, they go on to start to like memorize the figures. They go on to start to like notice patterns. They start to like conduct their lives around these figures that they see on the wall, because this is all they know. Then imagine someone breaks free, and they go up, and they break free from the shackles. And they go up and they exit the cave. And all of a sudden they're met with real light, not fire, not this artificial light, but the real light from the sun. First, it's going to be very uncomfortable because their eyes have to adjust. I was thinking about that this morning in examples. When you in a dark room, like turn on the lights, like this morning, we were exhausted. The lights were off. And then my daughter, she was like, all right, time to wake up. She turned on the lights. And like our eyes had to get adjusted because it was so bright. So imagine you've been in the cave your entire life. Not just you went to sleep for a couple hours, but you were in a cave your entire life, and all of a sudden you get exposed to the sun. It was so painful that the prisoner that escaped had to go back to the cave because it was so painful. And then he would go out a little bit until his eyes finally adjusted. And when his eyes finally adjusted, he saw the true reality. He saw that that all he was seeing his entire life was figures on the wall. He was not seeing things in their entirety. He was not seeing the truth of what was actually there. So then he goes back to try to tell the others. You know what they do? They laugh at him. They shun him. They even get upset with him because he's disrupting their worldview. They've already memorized the patterns of this fictitious world. They already built a relationship with this version of reality that they have. For somebody to come and try to disrupt that and feed them these stories, they rejected it. The same thing happens with us now. Is I am telling you that the way that you are experiencing reality is like a prisoner who's been chained, and you're looking at shadows of what's actually there. You are not seeing reality in its fullness, in its truth. You are only seeing shadows. This is going to be really hard to accept, which is why I don't just like to, I mean, I like to talk about it, right? Because it's just what wants to be expressed. But more than anything, it's about the experience of it. And that's why I'm always inviting you all to practice with me, to like explore with me, to come in with me. I'm trying to pull you in, draw you in, because I don't want this to just be a good thing to think about. I want you to see it. I want you to go out there and allow your eyes to see the sun, to see the real objects. And when you do, it will be a lot for you. And that's why when people do have glimpses of the truth, they'll usually go back to what's familiar, because it's terrifying to see that the entire way you've been living your life has, I wouldn't say it's been a lie, but it's been a small fragment of what's actually going on. And once your eyes do get used to seeing the sun, which I have so many tools and practices to help you with that in my YouTube, and also in mentorship, I help people do that. Somebody asked me if I do one-on-ones. I don't do one-on-ones. I have a mastermind, and I do like micro programs. If you go through my mastermind and you feel like you still need help, that's when I do one-on-ones. So the tools help you get adjusted to the light. And once you get adjusted to the light, you can never go back. You can never go back to accepting that the shadow figures are reality. Even if you forget for a little bit, you'll forget, and you'll start identifying with the character who wobbles again, but not for long. Not for long, I'm telling you. Even when I still be in a situation I don't like, I'm still at peace knowing the truth. I know that's right. I know that's right, Puna. Do you feel your message is more important on this conscious beta level or deeper states of consciousness? Our different minds create our realities. Let me see. Do you feel your message is more important on this conscious level or deeper states of consciousness? I think it's important on the conscious level, because on the conscious level, that's when we're lucid. So when we're lucid, we have more of like will, and we can like play more in the dream, and we can like direct it more. When we're in those like alpha theta states, we are usually in a state of just like just being receptive to information. That's why in a dream it can seem like we're just watching it, and we don't realize that we're dreaming until we wake up, and we go, unless we become lucid. And what they see, what happens in the brain when people become lucid, is that the DNS, the default networking system, like some of that comes online, which is responsible for like our decision making, like categorizing, making sense out of the the way that we experience reality linearly, like that starts to come online, which is also responsible for what we call I. And when that comes online, then all of a sudden there's like this level of choice, where you're no longer just watching the dream, but now you are an active participant. So I think that when we're in those alpha theta states of the brain, that's the best time to put this information in, so that the conscious mind, which is full of rejecting this, isn't there to say this is true or this is not. But then in the conscious mind, it's important to still keep ourselves around this information, so that we now practice this in form. We now practice being out of the wobble. We now practice doing the things even if our mind is saying, no, don't do it. No, this is scary. You can't put yourself out there. You can't release that offer. You can't go for it. You don't have the credentials. Nobody's gonna buy. Nobody believes in you. This isn't gonna work out, right? Because in the conscious state, that's when it matters to make the decision. Is when your back is against the wall and you're so fucking uncomfortable that you don't know what else to do. And then you still decide to not wobble and move forward in your dream. And that's even crazier, because there's really nobody that's deciding. But we'll talk about this in Delete the Wobble, because I'll leave it there. But I had my memories back when I became awakened, kind of strange, but I learned that's me facing the shadows. Your soul isn't here doing anything right or wrong. Your ego is here showing you how you would feel if it did. You're not a person with a soul. You're a soul with multiple egos. Absolutely. I love that. I love that, King of K. Absolutely. Absolutely. So I'll end it there. This has been lovely. This was so fun. I'm getting back into my live bag because I had stopped for a while. So this has been really nice to communicate, to connect with you all, talk with you all, and I'm definitely gonna be doing this like much more often, at least like once every 2 weeks. I'll say I won't say once a week. Maybe I'll start like a members channel, so that I can go deeper into some of these topics and we can go into like the deeper methods. But I'll see. We'll see. Thank you. What is the key when you know it's done and you live day to day in a 3D with no sense of waiting or where is it? The key is the key is remembering the truth of who you are so that you notice the wobbling if you are wobbling, if you are reacting to external circumstances, and realize that you are not the one reacting. You are aware of the reacting. You are not the one who's doubting. You are aware of doubt. You are not the one who's fearing. You are aware of fear. You don't have anxiety. You are aware of anxiety. That's the key. Because now the character can do whatever it wants while you stay stable as the one who knows that experience is being born out of you as awareness. Awareness cannot be without your experience. And I'll end it there. Thank you all. Thank you. And I'm not sure what time my lives will be. We'll see. I'll make an announcement next time before I go live so that more people can show up. But this has been so much fun, and I appreciate you all, and I hope you all have an amazing rest of your day. Bye.